All right, so if you've ever just stared at your to-do list and felt completely, totally paralyzed, yeah, this one's for you. Today, we're going to talk about why that feeling of being overwhelmed isn't actually your fault and what you can do to reboot that overloaded brain of yours.
Let's just kick things off with this because it's so important. You're not lazy. You're mentally overloaded. Seriously, just let that sink in for a second. This isn't some get-out-of-jail-free card or an excuse. It's a diagnosis for a problem that so many of us are dealing with every single day. And just getting that difference, that's the first step.
So this brings us right to what I like to call the laziness myth. We're about to totally dismantle this idea that feeling unmotivated is some kind of personal failing. The truth is, in the crazy, hyper-connected world we live in, it's often a completely rational response to a totally irrational amount of stuff being thrown at us.
You know that feeling, right? Procrastination, that inability to just start the thing you know is important? We've all been taught to think of it as a character flaw, like, oh, I just lack discipline. But it's not. It's actually a symptom of cognitive overload. It means your brain's processing power is just completely maxed out.
Okay, so if it's not some deep character flaw, then what's actually going on inside our heads? To get that, we need to dive into the science of the overloaded brain. We're talking about the real mechanics behind why we feel so burnt out all the time.
So here's the core of the problem. Just imagine for a second that the part of your brain that focuses, your prefrontal cortex, is like a single-lane highway. There's a very real, very physical limit to how much traffic it can handle at any given moment. This is a real thing in neuroscience, and it's called the attentional bottleneck.
And what's the traffic trying to cram onto that single-lane highway? Well, check this out. On average, you're getting hit with over 120 digital notifications a day. Every single buzz, every single ping, that's another car trying to merge, creating this massive cognitive traffic jam. And each one gives you this tiny little hint of dopamine that just yanks you away from what you were trying to do.
And the result of that constant traffic jam, it's this staggering number. We're switching what we're doing on average every 47 seconds. 47 seconds. That's not deep work. That's not even shallow work. That's just frantic lane switching, and you end up going nowhere fast.
And all that constant switching, it leaves behind this kind of mental sludge. It's a real thing called cognitive residue. The best way to think about it is like when you close a program on your computer, but it's secretly still running in the background, just eating up memory and slowing everything else down. A piece of your attention is literally still stuck on that email you just glanced at, even while you're trying to focus on something new.
Okay, so our brains are fragmented, running on fumes. What on earth do we do about it? Our gut reaction is always to just try harder, right? To be more disciplined. But the real solution, it's actually the complete opposite. It's all about embracing the power of simplification.
And this is the key. This is the big idea. We think the answer is more discipline, but that's just like trying to rev an engine that's completely out of gas. Your brain isn't craving more willpower. It's absolutely exhausted from making decision after decision after decision. It just wants fewer choices. That's it. Less effort, not more.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, high performers, they aren't superheroes. They're just really good architects of their own attention. They build routines to put the boring everyday decisions on autopilot. They carve out focus blocks to send a huge signal to their brain that says, hey, this is the only thing that matters right now. They declutter their environments to cut down on all that visual noise. And crucially, they set hard digital boundaries. It's like putting up a giant shield against all those distractions.
All right, now I know what you might be thinking. Fighting tech overload with more tech? It sounds a little crazy, right? But what if we could actually use our most powerful tools not to add to the distraction, but to help us focus? Well, that's where we find a really unlikely cure. AI. It's all about flipping the script.
So most people see AI as just another part of the problem. More noise, more options, more clutter. But the smarter way to look at it is as a potential solution. Don't think of it as a fire hose of information blasting you in the face. Think of it as an intelligent funnel that removes friction, gives you structure, and only shows you exactly what you need to see right when you need to see it.
So how does an AI actually help you learn smarter and stay focused? Well, instead of you having to stress about what to learn next, it can serve up the perfect little micro lesson. It can basically act like a personal trainer for your brain, noticing when you're getting tired and saying, hey, maybe it's time for a break. And it can strategically bring back information right before you're about to forget it, which makes learning feel almost effortless instead of like a total chore.
Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. How do you actually do this? We're going to walk through a super simple 5-step focus reset that you can literally use this afternoon to immediately start reclaiming your mental energy.
Seriously, how can you apply this right now, like in the next half hour, to feel more in control? You don't need a weekend retreat. You don't need to buy some new fancy app. This is just a simple sequence of actions designed to be like a hard reboot for your brain's operating system. Ready? Here's how it works.
Okay, here we go. The reset process. Step 1 is a digital cleanse. Just take 2 minutes. Close every single browser tab that isn't absolutely essential. Silence your phone. Put it away. See, this isn't about willpower, it's about removing the temptation. Step 2, choose one micro goal. And I mean micro. This is so important. Don't try to finish the project. Your goal is to write 1 paragraph. A tiny goal is so much easier to start. Step 3, activate flow. Set a timer for 25 minutes, and for those 25 minutes, you do only that one task. No multitasking. This is how you retrain your brain to focus on one thing. Step 4, a conscious pause. And I mean a real pause. 3 minutes, no screens. Get up, look out the window, stretch. Let your brain actually process things. And finally, step 5, reflect. Just take 30 seconds. Ask yourself, what did I actually get done or learn? This simple little question helps anchor the new information in your mind. And that's it. That's a full reboot cycle.
So, what's the big payoff for all this? What does it actually feel like on the other side of that reset? Let's talk about what happens when your brain is finally, truly rebooted.
When you start consistently clearing out all that mental gunk, your brain is going to thank you. For real. You'll start to notice you're learning things faster because there's less interference. You'll suddenly have more mental space for creative ideas to pop up. And honestly, maybe the biggest reward of all is just that feeling of calm, that lower anxiety that comes when your brain can finally close all those open tabs.
So the big takeaway here, the most important thing to remember is this. The answer is not about grinding harder. It's not about trying to force motivation when you just don't have it. It's a strategic game. It's all about learning how to protect and manage your own mental bandwidth.
So let's end with this one critical thought. Your brain isn't broken. It's just overstimulated. It's trying to operate in an environment it was never, ever designed for. So the solution isn't to try and fix some imaginary flaw inside of you. It's to strategically change your environment. Give your brain a fighting chance. It's time for that reboot.